Thanks, Chief.
Regular meeting, Newton Falls Village Council.
All right, let's keep it quiet, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And whereas the Newton Falls baseball team, known as the Breaking Ballers, exemplified these values throughout the outstanding commitment, sportsmanship, and determination throughout the 2025 season. And whereas through months of hard work and collaboration, the Breaking Ballers demonstrated excellence on the field, culminating in their historic and triumphant victory of the 2025 Hot Stove League, Ohio Hot Stove League, Baseball League Double E State Champions on July 20th, 2025. And whereas this achievement not only reflects the team's athletic skill, but also their support and encouragement of dedication of the coaches, the families, the community members, all who contributed to their journey. And whereas the Village of Newton Falls wishes to recognize this exceptional group of young athletes for bringing pride and honor to our community through their championship victory, the first ever of its kind, and representing our village with integrity and distinction. And whereas their success serves as an inspiration to other youth in our community and reinforces the importance of teamwork, perseverance, and local support. Now, therefore, Mayor David Hanson and council members Patricia Benitez, Brian Axiotis, Robert Burke, Kevin Rufner, Julie Stempert, and on behalf of the officials, the employees, and the citizens of the Village of Newton Falls, do hereby extend their heartfelt congratulations to the Breaking Ballers and proclaim that the Village of Newton Falls formally recognizes and celebrates their 2025 Ohio Hot Stove League Baseball Double E State Championship victory. So we'll, yeah. All right, I'll call your name off, and you guys can come and pick up your award. Zane Shelton. Come on up, Zane. Good job, Zane. Next, we have Chief Phillips. You got Babe Ruth's number there. Next, we have Michael Bennett, number 10. He's not here. All right, number 33, Jaden Stempert. How about Nick Reynolds, number 2?
I got excited.
Wyatt Wheeler, number 4, come on down.
Yeah.
Hunter Person, 24.
All those cars, I thought something's happening.
Yes, it is, yeah.
Brendan Pumphreys, 69. Alaric Howard, number 7. Gavin Perry, number 30. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Okay, is there anything else?
You want-
got proclamation down below?
They got another one back there?
Wait a minute, who else we got there?
There's one way in the back.
Who is it? Devin who? Devin Sherman, come on down.
Get their managers and assistant managers. Coaches.
Managers?
Coaches.
Coaches. All right, if the managers and coaches and everybody that helped out, if you guys would come on up here for a moment with the team. Yeah, here.
Yeah, that'll do it. Thank you.
Yeah, come on up here, you guys. Ready?
Jeez. You want in there?
No.
Okay.
Don't move.
Little man needs to get up front.
You got it, man. Thank you, guys. All right, man. Thank you.
Yeah, Julie. It was missing.
Read his shirt. Read his shirt. If gender is confused, you go.
I did. I saw that when he walked up.
That's funny.
What's the what's the name that's missing?
Staying for the fun?
Julie.
The one
Stay
wants.
for the best part.
The one wants.
Devin.
The one
I do
wants.
think that's kind
Kind of reminded me of the waiting room in Beetlejuice.
Remember him?
Yeah.
And the glasses. I think that's him.
Okay.
The one that
All right, so I can.
that's really good.
That's on Facebook.
I'll give
Tell me you call it. You're in touch with a federal. That's right.
Well,
Huh?
they're all leaving.
Let that guy. He fell down off a ladder. So.
You're welcome. Good job.
See you, Coach. Congratulations. Yes, sir. Good luck. Keep it up, okay?
All right, we have another proclamation. This is commemorating the listing of the Newton Falls Downtown Historic District on the National Historic Register and recognizing the contributions of Connie Talcott and Tom Colissimo. And the proclamation reads, whereas the National Register of Historic Places is the official list of the nation's historic places worthy of preservation. It was established through the National Historic Preservation Act of 1966 and administered by the National Park Service to support public and private efforts to preserve our country's history and cultural heritage. Whereas on July 15, 2025, the Newton Falls Downtown Historic District, located along Broad Street and roughly bounded by Canal and Center Street, was officially listed on the National Register of Historic Places under the listing number SG 100012005. And whereas this prestigious designation honors and preserves the architectural and cultural significance of our historic downtown and reinforces the village's commitment to protecting its rich heritage for future generations. Whereas the successful nomination and listing were made possible through the vision and determination and hard work of Connie Talcott and Tom Colissimo, whose advocacy, research, and dedication to preservation were instrumental in this achievement. Whereas their leadership exemplifies the value of civic pride and demonstrates how individuals can make a lasting impact on their communities through historic preservation and public service. Whereas this designation will support revitalization efforts, encourage historic tourism, and deepen the community's appreciation for the historical character that makes Newton Falls unique. Now, therefore, Mayor David Hanson and council members Patricia Benitez, Brian Axiotis, Robert Burke, Kevin Rufner, and Julie Stempert, on behalf of the officials, employees, and citizens of the Village of Newton Falls, do hereby recognize the official listing of the Newton Falls Downtown Historic District on the National Register of Historic Places and extend their sincere appreciation to both Connie Talcott and Tom Colissimo for their vital roles in this historic achievement. So with this said, let it be known that the village celebrates this momentum recognition and encourages continued efforts to preserve and honor our local history. In testimony whereof I have hereunto set to my hand and caused the seal of the Village of Newton Falls to be affixed on this, the first day of August 2025. Thank you very much, Mr. Colissimo, and Connie, are you out here? Come on up.
Woo woo.
Mayor, wait a minute.
All right, we move on next to public comments. 3 minutes. We got a load of people here tonight, so if you need a moment to compose yourself before you get up to speak, or a couple seconds to compose yourself and think about what you want to say, do it on the front end, not the back end, because we've got, like I said, we have a bunch of people up here I think are going to want to weigh in tonight.
Julie Lemon, 609 Ridge Road. First off, I want to say congratulations to the ball players. I remember playing in the league as a child. Harry Shaver was my coach. We were 15-1. We were division champs. Not as good as the guys, but us girls did our best, okay? We'll just say it that way. It takes a lot of work, and it takes a lot of effort from the parents and the coaches, and I remember long summers and lots of games, and Patty Shaver being the very best dugout mom. So lots of memories, and I know you guys that all participate in that have the memories with your kids, and congratulations to them all again. Congratulations to Tom and Connie. They never gave up, they kept pushing forward, and they have achieved that for the town. So I think that's really good, and congratulations to them. But I wanted to speak on ordinance 2025-33 that's in the minutes. This was actually, it's being approved in the minutes, but was presented to you guys as an emergency. There's no emergency in that. There's a desire, but there's no emergency. The Charter Review worked very, very hard to make sure abusive emergency ordinances were, and shall remain a bad memory that hopefully fades away with the past administrations, and while paving the way for a more transparent and honest way of handling emergencies. And the people voted to approve that. That is in the charter. So everybody in administration and council is bound to abide by the charter. I believe per the minutes, they are up for approval this evening. The last council meeting said this ordinance was supposed to be tabled and put on the agenda for tonight's meeting. That didn't happen, so I would ask why. And then further, I want to go into the speed cameras. I fully support cameras in the school zone during school hours, like when the kids are being dropped off, when everybody, we know when they're flashing, they're there. So, but I would like to see some data and stats. I've even been quoted saying that I would support them elsewhere too, in town, but what I need for that is some data and some stats presented to the people why the necessity of the cameras would be needed elsewhere in our town. For example, Ridge Road, Warren Road, Broad Street. When I say stats, I mean actual speeding tickets, the amounts, the occurrences, the times they're occurring. Is one time of the day but worse than the other time of the day? How many occurrences are per day, per week? Something along that line, the actual data that can be shown held in red. I fully support Reports in Blue. Chief Barco, I fully support you in the wonderful job that you are doing. I still question Blue Line Solutions Company because they came here and did a presentation and their practices. I have a copy. Can I finish it?
Yeah, finish it up.
Yeah, I have a copy right here from the audit done by Zupka and Associates. And on it, I would like to request that council and the administration, specifically the council and the finance department, ensure that if the speed cameras move forward, and if the city were to choose Blue Line Solution or any other company for that matter, that you absolutely demand a SOC Type 1 and an SOC Type 2 report to ensure that the internal controls of the product and devices that would be used are in tip-top shape and their internal controls are above reproach. I would ask that the tools used to collect the extended data, example, perhaps 6 months of data from the speed camera at the school, would be above reproach. And when communities don't have these reports, like Girard did not have this report, on file with the assurance that everything and everyone is on the up and up, then that leads and gives way to potential errors and omissions for the third-party administrator and the city itself. And these reports are what I affectionately refer to as CYB, COCB, CTB. Cover your butt, cover our butt, cover their butt. And I know that Jamie will make sure that everything's in order, but I ask that you guys take that into consideration, and I will give this to the clerk for you guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
John Bariak, 660 North Canal, Newton Falls, Ohio. I saw on the agenda about straightening up these golf carts. There's been a lot of talk around town. From what I remember, I was on council when we passed it. It was I call it the Waddell Amendment because he wanted to ride his golf cart around. Well, a lot of the people right now don't know what they're supposed to do, so I'm glad to see it being straightened out. The other topic I'd like to bring up is the speed cameras a little bit. I have it on my cell phone where there's a thing passed by the Ohio State Legislature where you may have to give some money back or you may have to put money in escrow to fight some claims or whatever. So or maybe they'll take our grants office for our equipment and that if we do get some. I don't know what it pertains to, that's a law director question, but that's come up. Also, I do know a lot of people up in Girard. And Girard, the business owners up there said that the speed cameras did cut down on the people coming to town. Why would you want to come into Newton Falls if you knew you may get a citation? And I'm not the kind, I got 2 in my life. I got one when my wife was dying, I had to get to Cleveland Clinic, and I got another one out in Girard. I paid both of them. But how do you know we're gonna get paid? I'm not against the police department, but we've got to go somewhere to fund it. And one other thing that I want to get out of here. We could have 2 officers, but I don't think we have anybody qualified except Mr. Barco right now, full-timer, to run the speed guns. We have to just do the things that, I think you have to be full-time, at least the sheriff's work. So I'm just trying to get the most bang for the buck and be transparent. I didn't come up here to argue with anybody. I think we need to be more transparent. Thank you.
John? Anybody else?
Jim Lawanawatsu, 10 East Liberty Street. I too support the police department and you, Mr. Barco. I worked at the police department for 10 years in dispatch. Tonight, council, you find yourselves in a unique position. One that you've seen other councils, one when Mr. Quivel was here, one when Mr. Fixler was here. Both bring up this idea of speed cameras, and both were shot down by the citizens of Newton Falls. Firmly, they did not want them. Obviously, your memories are short. You're trying to sell the speed cameras as for the school zone and all about safety, not money. Mr. Law Director, did you review and approve this ordinance to form and legality and to the constitutionality of it? One council person that I talked to, I emailed all of you, and I appreciate all of you except for Mr. Burke responding to me. One council person I talked to told me the school zone has been over there for 40 years, and people should know the speed limit in that area. Well, that's probably true. My kids went to the private school over there. I was in that school zone twice a day, every day. I've talked to a lot of the senior citizens that have been here longer than I have in my 30 years. And in the 40 years that I asked those people about, they don't ever recall that one child's been hit or injured by a car in that school zone. So, you might have sold this to the residents a lot better if the ordinance did not contain double talk. Mr. Axiotis, you brought up at the last meeting, and you were treated like you didn't know what you were talking about by the other council members because you said that the ordinance contained double talk, and it does. The way the ordinance is written, it says that the cameras are only going to be used in the school zone. And when you questioned that, the law director said that if they wanted to use them any place but the school zone, they would have to bring the ordinance back to council. Am I correct on that? As he shakes his head, yes. But I was on council, I know how to read ordinances, and usually when I say something, I'm correct on it. And section 3B of that ordinance clearly says that the police chief has the ability to use those cameras anywhere that he chooses to place them. That tells me that Mr. Axiotis is correct and the rest of you are wrong. And when I asked Mr. Rufner about that, he said that that was just an exhibit of an example that was attached to that ordinance that should not have been there. If it shouldn't have been there, why in the hell did you vote on it? Because after you vote on it tonight, it becomes an ordinance.
Mayor, time.
So that means you either need to remove it or it becomes law. And if it becomes law, you're going to force our hand in getting a referendum and or an initiative to stop this.
Anybody else? Here we go.
Good evening, Council. Brian Kropp, 247 Elizabeth Street. I'll be brief. I just had some questions. And I've spoken with several council members and some of the administration as well in regard to the speed cameras. And my questions are more about the monetary aspect of it. And I know it's been touted. I don't personally kind of agree with Jim Wanawantu about the safety aspect. It hasn't heard anything about anybody being hit in that zone, or we're not preventing anything. It hasn't happened. But I don't think anybody's considered the fact that for a number of, 18 months, 16 months, we had no police presence essentially in the town, and we got a study from the Blue Line Solutions that came in and provided a study with numbers of traffic, cars that went through the school zone, the number of potential infractions or violations that would have taken place when we haven't had any kind of presence in the community for a number of months, like I said. Everybody knows that, and people kind of just drive through town knowing that no one's going to stop them, no one's going to pull them over. We haven't attempted deterrence, but when we start talking about money and how much, let's say we put a cop over there, we have cameras and people slow down, we're not generating any revenue through that or minimal revenue, no matter what a presentation or somebody might present, or tell us we're going to try to make them X amount of dollars for supporting our police department. But what about the back end where we have higher revised code that states that we're going to have an officer look at all those transactions and look at all those different speed camera infractions or potential violations? That's going to take real man hours. Why not just stick somebody there, have an officer there that's going to be present and be in the community? I think that's much better serving the public and a much better use case. I feel like this is really rushed. I know you guys are trying to get in before the school year, and I know you guys are really trying to figure out a way to fund the police department because we brought it back without really having a good, strong plan to bring on more full-time officers, et cetera, and I understand that. And I appreciate that, but I don't think this is the way that the public wants. I don't think this is going to benefit the downtown. We just had, we just read a proclamation that we just had it on the National Historic Registry, or the Register, which I think is fantastic. We've had people threaten to not come down to businesses and stuff, and I don't know if that's true or not, but I don't think this is the way. I'd really like to see council take their time, effort, energy, come up with better ideas to generate revenue for the police department, and I don't think this is it. If you're being honest with the public and being honest with yourselves, I don't think anybody actually up there believes that this is a safety thing. This isn't something that's going to make people safer. Sending somebody a ticket in the mail 2 or 3 weeks later after they've blown through the school zone is not making anybody safer. It's not what policing is. That's not what service is. It's not what the community is looking for. The community is looking for presence. They want to see their department. They want to see their local officers in the community, among the community. You've got a couple hours of each day between, I think it was 7 and 8:30 and 2:10 and 3:30 or something along those lines. Have an officer or two down there. You get a couple people pulled over, presence, people will slow down. I'd like to see a study of what that same exact time frame, a 5-day study during a school year, when you have Monday through Friday during those times from 7 o'clock in the morning until 3:30 in the afternoon, of seeing what that would look like if you had an officer or a couple vehicles parked at either end of that zone, and then see what your numbers look like, and then start talking about real dollars. How much is this going to cost the city? How much do we really stand to make if there's any actual dollars to be made from this? Or is it just some companies that are salespeople that are trying to benefit off of fear or the fact that they know that we're kind of in a desperate position because we don't have a lot of funding opportunities. We're trying to run on minimal staffing, minimal, we're trying to just brought back the police department. So please keep that in mind before you guys vote on this. And then, the other things as far as what the language in the actual ordinance says, be smart about this, guys, please, before you guys decide to vote on this tonight. Thank you.
Adam Zimmerman, 515 LeMay Avenue. I want to talk about the police cameras real quick. We have a brand-new police force in town. Thank you, Chief, for helping to bring the police force back. Constituted of purely part-time officers with one full-time and you, Chief. I want to see us get to full-time officers here in the village, as many as we can support. I applaud you for trying to find a revenue stream that does not hit everyone in their pocketbook. Almost everyone here tonight has said that they would not support a levy for our police department. Almost everybody here has said that at one time or another. Yet now you propose another way to get a revenue stream that only hits people that are breaking the law and hits them in the pocketbooks, not every individual person in this town. I applaud you for trying to head down that road. Speed cameras work. I drive through plenty every day. Outside the place where I work, we did a study a little bit ago. We have a 25-mile-an-hour road with a crosswalk that my workers have to come across every day. People fly down that road. People are in the middle of the crosswalk. Nobody slows down. We put some of those speed cameras out there that lit up red and blue, showed your speed. And we found out that there was, like a 2-week study, it only caught a couple hundred people going over the speed limit once they knew those cameras were there. So it did slow people down. I walk these streets nightly. I get people fly down here Broad Street. They wind up going out of town. Same thing coming in. They don't want to slow down until they get in here past the village. Years ago, when the sheriff's department sat here, I talked to deputy. One night, he caught 11 people coming into town or going outside of town in a 2-hour stretch, flying up and down these streets. So we need to slow people down. I appreciate it starting off in the school zone. I think none of us here really want cameras. We'd rather have our officers out there doing it. But unfortunately, I see this as a necessary evil right now until we can get staff to where we need to be to support some full-time officers and bring that revenue stream more into this town. Just other things we've always heard about, just right downtown. I know we're not talking about putting speed cameras there. We want to have a DORA downtown. People complain about people passing each other right down here in our downtown district where we want to put the DORA, where our historical district is. We need to slow people down through that area that people may be potentially drinking alcohol crossing those streets. If people are complaining that they don't want to come into our town because of the speed cameras, those are the people that I don't want here in this town. I want people coming into town respecting our streets, respecting our officers, respecting our citizens out on these streets. And that's it for now. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. All right, we'll move on to reports. I want to revisit the speed cameras real quick. Since I've had my office uptown in, like the past 30 months, the sidewalk's been breached twice. Once with a tractor trailer that knocked over a street light. The other time, it was a guy in a Harley Davidson that knocked over a street light, and that was actually pretty spectacular to think you could knock over a street light with a motorcycle. I mean, even I can't come up with something better than that. But the bottom line is there's chaos in town with the traffic right now, and it's not safe for the people crossing, and the thing with the DORA, that Mr. Zimmerman brought up, that's going to be even more of a problem. You know, if someone has had a couple of drinks and someone's going through town 50 miles an hour, which they do. And I think we ought to talk to maybe the residents on the side streets where these people are really clipping, and also the merchants downtown. And the people that are flying through here, they're not residents. They're not the people that live here. They're passing through. And for us to put a tax on the law-abiding citizens, the people that stay within the bounds of the law, it's not right. You know, the taxes are tyranny if you're going after the people that are rolling within the boundaries of the law. And, you know, the bottom line is here, this is how we're going to slow it down. Now, I don't know if the speed cameras are going to stay for 2 years, 5 years. I don't know how long, or maybe there'll be a permanent fixture here. But right now, we've got to get the people slowed down in town. It's going to be something bad happening. Someone's going to get run over. There's going to be another bad accident. Something's going to happen if we don't slow them down, because it's just pandemonium now. With that, I'll hand it off to Mr. Axiotis.
Well, these are reports. I didn't think we'd talk about speed cameras here. I thought we'd hold that for the ordinance, but if that's what we want to do. Your reference to tyranny about speed cameras and people paying for things, how come that doesn't apply to the fire department? Do we have a levy on our properties for fire department? I mean, I've not had a fireman over my house to put out a fire. Why am I paying for that? Maybe it should be only the people who have fires would pay for that then. I mean, that's the argument you guys are making. Some of you up here have said, don't break the law, you won't pay. But historically, levies have always paid for these services. The argument that you've made about tyranny doesn't hold weight. If the speed cameras up here generate all this revenue to fund a police department, it's not just for traffic enforcement. Everyone will gain, whether it's from theft, drug users, arrest, domestic violence. That money's going to go to that. Not just from, you're going to do this on the backs of people who might be speeding through town. I just don't agree. I mean, if that's the route we want to take, then let's get the levies off our properties for other things that I pay for that I'm not going to use. I mean, one of my son's already graduated. My daughter's got 3 years left. Let's get the school levies off my property. I won't be having kids in school. I mean, I don't understand. Like, that argument just doesn't hold weight. I'm sorry. It doesn't fly with me. My other report was that I attended a planning and zoning meeting yesterday. Went well, got something done. Still looking forward to having someone there to record the minutes. Thank you. Pat, do you have anything?
My turn?
Yeah, it's your turn.
Yeah, okay. I usually brighten mine out, so I can't be, so people can't say I said this or I said that. Okay. I'm in total support of our own police department. I have heard many of you in our town say the sheriff was doing a wonderful job and we should just go with the Trumbull County Sheriff. I disagree. As an example, just a couple of days ago, I saw on Facebook one of our officers playing basketball at the city park with the neighborhood children. We need more things like this to happen, especially in this day and age. Our youth need to be exposed to the positive interaction with law enforcement, especially with our local police department. Sometimes a youngster needs to know that there is someone they can confide in. And what better way than a police officer that he feels he can trust? When we had the Trumbull County Sheriff Department for police services, their productivity was reactive, not proactive, especially when looking at traffic enforcement. A couple of days ago, I was at Shop and Save, and a deputy was sitting in his patrol vehicle when a vehicle gunned their motor and came flying down Ridge Road. The deputy just sat there. I was told the deputy could have pulled the vehicle over. Just in the month of July, Newton Falls issued 60 traffic citations. That alone shows our local police department is committed to getting the traffic violations back under control and looking out for our residents' and businesses' safety. Of course, no one wants to get a ticket, but if you speed, you earn a ticket, and you need to pay for it. I know that some people are against traffic cameras, but if you aren't speeding, then you have nothing to worry about. Do I want a ticket? Heavens, no. But if I get one, it's because I earned it, and I'm going to pay it. I hear people say that an officer should man the camera, but also they say that the officer should be at a place where a crime is being committed. Are our officers expected to be mind readers, to know who is committing a crime and where at all times? Our officers can't be everywhere at once or know everything that is going on at all times. I have also heard that we are not getting the best officers. I firmly disagree on that. Many of our officers hold other law enforcement positions elsewhere while helping staff our police department. We should be thanking them instead of disparaging them. Traffic cameras are a better alternative to assist the community regain its Newton Falls Police Department as a full-service and full-time entity. This will allow the individuals responsible for breaking the law and endangering the safety of our residents to pay their fair share, rather than moving the burden to the law-abiding citizens and asking them to pay more taxes. Let me be clear. The implementation of traffic cameras will not replace normal police patrols or proactive police activity, including regular traffic stops and regular traffic citations issued directly from a law enforcement officer. Your council is trying to do what's best for the community overall, including spending your tax dollars carefully. I firmly believe that the majority of you will agree that these traffic cameras and a full-time police department are what's best for the community at large. And just as an aside, if you didn't go down to the park last night, you missed a fun time. Our police and fire departments did a great job with the many activities. The dunk tank, and Igor was one of them, was especially fun to watch. The police canopy was made possible due to national opiate settlement and cost the village nothing, free, nothing. As a village, we need to take advantage of social activities such as last night as they strengthen our bond as a united community. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Pat. Ms. Julie, do you have any?
Yeah, just a few things. I attended National Night Out as well for a very brief time, but it was a very nice event, organized, and seemed to have a good gathering of our residents. Also, our next fire board meeting is 6 o'clock at the Township Building on August 19th. And then also the Breaking Ballers coaches have asked me to reach out to our Park and Rec. So I've discussed with Bob, and we're going to reach out to them of possibly getting a banner to recognize the state championship team at our local community park. So that's all I have.
Yeah, so we're going to try to meet with Park and Rec soon and get stuff going about the baseball programs and meet also about some other park and recreation activities we can try to create. As far as that, that's all I have right now.
Mr. Ribner?
Yeah, real quick, I was down at the National Night Out last night, had a great time. I want to say thank you to all the emergency services, all the first responders, police department, fire department, EMS, and all the support agencies that came out and were represented out there as well. It was a great time, it was a very fun evening, and if you weren't down there, we got some young kids that made sure I spent a lot of time in that dunk tank, so they need to get on the baseball team, so you know, there's some definite throwers out there. But again, my appreciation and thanks goes out to everybody involved setting it up, and you know, Chief even said we've already got people reaching out about next year, so it's a great thing. I love to see the community coming together. coming out, putting everything aside and just talking, enjoying each other and learning about the different services and opportunities available. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Libya, do you have anything for us?
Nothing tonight, sir. Thank you.
Ms. Jamie, you have anything for us tonight?
Sure. First off, I just wanted to let you know, just because, we use this room, the air conditioning is not working in part of this building, and that part of this building has been inspected by HVAC technician. The compressor's old, it needs replaced. So I've included a quote in the information tonight so that you can see how much this is going to cost. And also, when the HVAC technician was here, he was in this building 4.5 years ago, and he said he was escorted out and has not been welcomed back since by the previous administration. So no one has done any preventative maintenance on this building since that point in time. So in that quote, you'll see the cost for preventative maintenance for the entire system. So the second item on here is the street paving project. The 2024 paving project at Maple Church and Bain Streets has wrapped up. This project and the products used are not the traditional blacktop that you would see and that has been used in the past. The village elected for a recycled pavement process, and therefore it's never going to look like traditional pavement, nor is it going to have the same lifespan. So there were some issues with this pavement and its adherence, and that's why it continued from 24 into 25. And again, it's recycled materials. So there were many conversations between my department and the street department and OHM and Benedetti Paving to iron out any of the concerns with the adhesion of this product onto the road surfaces. So my suggestion is future paving projects should not include recycled paving. The problems with the adhesion make this substrate not suited for streets that have bricks underneath. So while the village was cautioned by its engineer at the time, the decision was made to pursue this method to save some money on the contract and on the bid. But moving forward, we should probably steer clear of that. The next item on here is Enbridge Gas. Enbridge Gas project is going to continue. They are stating that it's going to be completed by the end of this year. I do not have times as to when they're going to enter, but they're working to gain the easements to have access along Broad Street to the back of all businesses. The next item I have is the electric department. The electric department once again did peak shaving during the month of July. It's the hottest month. Despite having an emergency repair, the department was successful in completing the peak shaving during the last couple of months. Electric demand was at an all-time high during the month of July, and without the efforts of the electric department, future electricity rates could have been significantly higher. So electric rates are based on these high consumption events for the year. And then also I have a financial update. The village successfully closed its books for the month of July. Everything is reconciled and available. So I've attached copies of the fund balances as of July 31st in council's update for this evening. The fund balances are starting to look healthy for the general fund and for the general fund reserve. Best practices would indicate that there should be at least a 20% balance in the general fund reserve for all monies collected for the village for each year. While we're not there yet, it is heading in a positive manner, and this is due to the commitment of the finance director and council to be transparent and accountable for all monies. In my time here as finance director, no transfers from the general fund reserve to the general fund have been requested or made. Additionally, there is constant communication between the finance office and each department monitoring the appropriations in that process, the open purchase orders, as well as any remaining plans for capital improvements this year and planned for next year. We are concurrently working towards 2026 appropriations, but this communication allows each department, or with each department, allows an amount of respect for my department as well as any kind of guidance that can happen between myself and my staff. So there is a commitment by each of these departments to all work together. That includes any of our general fund departments as well as any of the utility departments. So I want to thank each and every one of the departments for moving the village in the right direction. This takes a huge commitment on all parts. So, and finally, the much anticipated 2021-2022 audit. The financial audit is now available on the Auditor of State's website for anyone in the public that would like to download it and review it. Thank you. That's all for today.
Thank you, Ms. Jamie. Chief, do you have anything for us tonight?
Yes, thank you. I'm going to start out by saying the Newton Falls Police Department responded to 316 calls for service in the month of July. A total of 60 citations were issued along with 6 criminal arrests. Last evening, we had our National Night Out at the parks. It'll be the first time since 2019. I believe it was a success, and I want to thank the Newton Falls Joint Fire District, Trumbull County Children's Services, Trumbull County Health Department, New Day Recovery, Kiwanis Club, AT&T, Trumbull County EMA Director John Hickey, the Traffic Safety Booth, Mahoney Valley Disc Dogs. They're a canine group out of Austintown. A special thank you goes to All About the Party for their donation of the dunk tank, bounce house, and slide. It's a wrap clothing for making our new event shirts, which last night we wore them. They were orange. Jason's wearing what it is, what we wore last evening. Affordable Delectables for donating her time to cook and serve the hot dogs and water. She has a food trailer. She's a sister of one of our officers, Michael Brown, and she was slinging hot dogs all by herself all night, refused any help, and she did a phenomenal job. I would like to thank the police officers who donated their time to make this a successful event. To the volunteers, Officer Igor, that everybody knows and loves, Joe Kehoe, Tim Pagorni, and Councilman Ken Rufner for stepping up to the plate to be dunked. The dunk tank was a huge success. It was supposed to end at 7 o'clock, and we had to finally shut them down like 25 minutes after. Also, I want to thank Mrs. Stemper, Mrs. Benitez, and Law Director Levian for attending. Our Newton Falls Police Canopy was purchased by the National Opiate Settlement Fund. And I also would like to personally thank Jason Miner, who was headed and took care of all the event planning. We discussed it, he made sure that it happened. I would like to clarify some areas of concern. The police department is currently running on its money that has been budgeted for the police department. The money is exactly what would have been paid to the Trumbull County Sheriff's Office. I am not a politician. I am the chief of police for the village of Newton Falls. I take it very passionately. I care very much about this village. My main concern is to make sure our police department provides service to our residents and businesses. Speed cameras are a tool to help the existing police budget by rebuilding a full-time police department. A full-time department will allow the residents and business owners the benefits of a full-time department. As I stated before, we cannot continue to ask the residents to pass a levy with higher taxes. The police department has tried it 3 or 4 times. It's been shot down every time. A speed camera ticket is fine applied directly to the violator instead of a tax on all. I also want to make it clear that the speed camera do not replace the work of an officer, but rather act as a supplement to them. Our officers will still be on the road, answering calls and making traffic stops as they do daily. Our patrol efforts will not decrease just because we have speed cameras. They're just another tool in our belt. I can tell you that our officers have been getting abused verbally by citizens, and we're getting stopped. Not only from in town, but from the village, from the Newton Township. Our officers don't deserve to be screamed at and yelled at, sworn at because we're not the sheriff's department. I'm gonna tell you, I got screenshots today from Facebook, and just so you know, I don't really get on Facebook, I only get on there to see my grandkids, so if you send me a message, I probably won't get it. I'm very transparent, come to the police department, I'll talk to you anytime, okay? This is what was sent to me today. A gentleman received a ticket. It was on Newton Falls Uncensored, I won't mention his name. Yes, bring the sheriffs back. This is effing joke. He was doing 57 and a 35, which he could have been cited for reckless op. You know that, Jim, right? But this is what they say. And my officers are getting sworn at every day. It's disgusting. I asked everybody to give us a chance and have our back. They don't deserve that. Don't deserve it at all. Okay? They don't. I'll back them. I'm very passionate about this. These officers are my family. Funding received from the speed cameras can be used by any village department, not just the police department. Not only do we have the potential for more investment in public safety, but the prospect of other departments receiving parts of this funding is very real. It's not just for the police department, it's for the village of Newton Falls, the people of Newton Falls. You can go to the park district, it can go, to the zone, to whatever we need it. It's not just for the police department. We have our money, it's allocated. We're staying within the budget. We just need some more money to help us to go full-time, to give everybody the full-time benefits of the police department, I think that everyone's entitled to. That's all I have to say, thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Sorry.
We're going to move on to item 8, which is approval of previous minutes. This is from the regular meeting minutes from July 23rd, 2025, and the special meeting minutes from July 24th, 2025.
There's no objection, Mayor. I'd like to have those passed collectively.
I'll second that.
Motion to pass both collectively, made by Mr. Rufner, seconded by Ms. Stempert. We need to vote on that. Ms. Stempert?
Yes.
Mr. Rufner?
Yes.
Mr. Burke?
Yes.
Mr. Exiotis?
Yes.
Ms. Benitez?
Correct, yes.
Okay, that passes. So now the motion would be to approve regular meeting minutes of July 23rd, 2025, and also the special meeting minutes of July 24, 2025.
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Stempert and Mr. Rufner. Discussion? Ms. Stempert?
Yes.
Mr. Rufner?
Yes.
Mr. Burke?
Yes.
Mr. Exiotis?
Yes.
Ms. Benitez?
Yes.
Pass 5-0.
All right, next comes item 9, public hearings. This is ordinance 2025-34. This is an ordinance creating the position of electric foreman in the Newton Falls Electric Department and establishing a rate of pay. Okay. Ordinance 2025-36 is an ordinance declaring a certain vehicle and other equipment obsolescent, no longer usable to the village of Newton Falls and to dispose of the vehicles as set forth herein. All right, on to ordinance 2025-37. This is an ordinance authorizing certain amendments to the appropriations for the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2025, and authorizing the finance director to amend and file a certificate of resources with the county auditor. Ordinance 2025-40. It's an ordinance to provide for and authorize photo traffic enforcement within the village of Newton Falls.
Adam Zimmerman, 515 LeMay Avenue. Just one more comment on this, that I was on the fire board when the fire levy passed. I helped support that. I voted for that. I will support a levy in this town for our schools, and I will support and help push for a levy for our police department if it comes down to that. But I applaud this coming first. Also want to say, we as town members living here in this town, we will know where these cameras are. So if any one of us gets caught going through those zones speeding, showing that we're not respecting our own fellow townspeople, our own citizens, our own workers, shame on us.
Jim Milano on 210 East Liberty Street. Chief, I never said I didn't support you. You know I support you. You know I support the department. The thing I don't support is the speed cameras. I don't think it's a good idea, and I especially don't think it's a good idea because I know when Blue Line Solutions was here, he was pitching to you how much money you can make off of State Route 5. Everyone sitting up there kept hearing from the citizens that they wanted our police department back because they wanted them in the neighborhoods. I've heard at least a dozen times in the last week since I posted on Facebook about this being at the meeting of the speed cameras and being able to discuss it. People have messaged me or called me, and they said that at least nightly, there's somebody sitting out at the marathon station writing tickets. I don't care, and I don't think the citizens care about what goes on Route 5. Yes, we annexed that, but I want an officer close in town, not a 2 or 3 minute response coming from Route 5. I'd like to know how many of those 60 citations were written out on Route 5, and how many of those camera tickets you intend to write on Route 5 versus how many we intend to actually write in town. Because that's the problem Newburgh Heights has and Mayfield Heights has with their cameras, is using them on the state highway, and Girard had, and that's what really ticks the people off, is you're catching people from out of town. You're not using them for safety. That's what I have to say about it.
The only thing I'd like to say is this. They promised to bring the police department back, and now they're trying to live up to what they can't do. And they're trying to get it off the backs. And what I don't understand is, who are we, what are we doing? How can you actually say that this is going to be something that's sustainable? When somebody just said, I don't know who was up here, Mr. Colosimo, nobody or whoever was back there said they won't support a levy. Well, if you can't, if your idea doesn't go straight through, well, maybe you ought to consider changing your opinion, because we're going to get back to the same thing we had before. We could have had 2 sheriffs in here. One was qualified to run a radar gun, where none of ours are right now, and that's what I'd like to see. But you think you're going to run it on speed tickets? That's just baloney. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Boriak.
Julie Lemon, 609 Ridge Road. So, again, the school sign, it's been there for years. I know majority of my up until our police department was disbanded, we always had one of our boys in blue sitting right there. It was at Details Diversified, I don't know, it's by the Dollar General store there. They were usually perched right there or by St. Joe's. I like to call them the city pace car, because when they were seen, people slowed down. But us having a smaller force, I would actually have to advocate for the fact they can't be everywhere all at one time. Again, I can do it for the school zones and when the school lights are on. But we have to give them a chance. If the data, give it, okay, compromise, give it 6 months. If the data does not support the need, do away with it. I think it's a fair compromise. But I think that's a good idea. I really do. But the sheriff didn't do anything, and I can say that because I took my daughter to school every single day this past year. They didn't do anything when people were doing 35 on 2 wheels, whipping into the school lot. And just because somebody hasn't been hurt doesn't mean it won't happen. There's always that one time. And I mean, you guys know my daughter was in a car accident. I'm petrified. I mean, I don't even like driving in snow. I literally kiss the ground when I get home and it's snowing out because I'm like, I'm home. I don't like it. But I will say, I think that it needs to be given at least a little bit. But it needs to be done right. Can we please? Because I even talked to Mr. Ruffner. I said, why was that attached? Because I was questioning what Mr. Axiotis said. And you explained that that was an exhibit that was not supposed to be, it was an example. It was not supposed to be there. So instead of voting it as is, clean it up, bring it back. Yes, school's getting ready to start, but you guys have another meeting before school starts, I believe. Please, clean it up, bring it back, and do right by the people. That's all I ask.
Thank you, Ms. Julie. Somebody else? All right, item 10 is unfinished business. It's an ordinance creating the position of electric foreman in the Newton Falls Electric Department and establishing a rate of pay.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Ms. Stempert and Ms. Benitez? No discussion? Mr. Burke?
Yes.
Mr. Axiotis?
Yes.
Ms. Benitez?
Yes.
Mr. Rufner?
Yes.
Ms. Stempert?
Yes.
Pass 5-0.
On to ordinance 2025-36. It's an ordinance declaring a certain vehicle and other equipment obsolescent and no longer usable to the city of Newton Falls and to dispose of the vehicles as set forth herein.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Ms. Benitez, Mr. Rufner? No discussion. Ms. Benitez?
Yes.
Mr. Axiotis?
Yes.
Mr. Burke?
Yes.
Mr. Rufner?
Yes.
And Ms. Stempert?
Yes.
Pass 5-0.
All right, on to ordinance 2025-37. This is an ordinance authorizing certain amendments to the appropriations for the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2025, and authorizing the finance director to amend and file a certificate of resources with the county auditor.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Mr. Rufner, Ms. Benitez? No discussion. Mr. Axiotis?
Yes.
Mr. Burke?
Yes.
Mr. Rufner?
Yes.
Ms. Stempert?
Yes.
Ms. Benitez?
Yes.
Pass 5-0.
All right, on to ordinance 2025-40. This is an ordinance to provide for and authorize photo traffic enforcement within the village of Newton Falls.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Mr. Rufner, Ms. Benitez?
Please.
I know there's been some discussion about the exhibit being attached to this and whether that was what was being passed or not. I don't think it's very clear. I know Kevin wrote an email expressing his concerns about the attachment. I think everyone kind of knows my thoughts on it with the way it's written. I don't like how it's written. I think there's a lot of double talk in some of that exhibit that I don't like. I know Mr. Limbian weighed in and said that it was for school zones only, and that if there was any indication and be for otherwise, it would have to be amended or changed. Personally, I'd like to table this tonight so it can be either be amended or rewrote and presented to us the way it should have been from the get-go. So I'd like to make a motion to table this so it can be changed and submitted back to council the way it should have been originally.
Is there a second? A second.
You want to read this again?
I don't think it needs to be read again.
It's still on the floor for discussion.
It's on the floor, it continues to be on the floor for
Ms. Pat?
discussion.
Kevin has.
Or Mr. Rupner?
I'd like my first address on this. As Mr. Axiotis alluded to, and even Mr. Lanahatsu when he spoke, we got the cart ahead of the horse on this, and we got caught up in details that weren't even supposed to be presented. Mr. Axiotis brought some very good points in his argument against the, as it's called, contract or exhibit that's attached to the ordinance. However, in talking with the chief, and I've even talked to Jim about this and explained it very thoroughly, there's a process that this has to go through. The first process, the first step, is to garner council support for the program. If council supports the program, then BLS the chief, council, whoever is so designated and directed to perform that function, develops a draft of a contract. Once it's mutually agreed to in draft format, then it's presented to council for adoption before any action goes forward for implementation. When I spoke to the chief, that attachment that was put on, it actually still sits on this, was supposed to come to us as a example of a la carte, so to say, what the contract could be. That's why it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. That's why there's a whole lot of contradictory information. It says this, and it says that, and it says this. It's because that's the a la carte version of a contract as a basis or starting point. We took that as the contract, and we got the cart ahead of the horse. With that said, it doesn't belong on there. So I would like to make a motion to, one, amend the ordinance, section 1, and remove as outlined in Exhibit A, and remove the attachment, cleaning up the issue.
I will second that.
That was Mr. Rufner and Ms. Stimpert. Is there any discussion on the proposed amendment?
If I may.
Please, Mr. Ruffer.
Again, this is to clean it up and get the unnecessary and unrelated information that is not needed in this ordinance to go to show the support of the legislative body. That's step 1. We're a long way from completing anything. This is just showing the support for the program, because no agency out there is going to develop and establish a contract, time, money, manpower, and effort, if they don't have the support of the community already from the council. So step 1 is develop or show the support. And that's what this ordinance is when we remove that attachment in its entirety and strike the verbiage as outlined in Exhibit A of Section 1. All references to everything else that everybody's wound up about are gone. This is back to the basic, just what it was intended to be, a support measure. That's all I've got. I'm sorry? My motion is to remove the entire Exhibit A in its entirety from this ordinance right now. Okay. That was what people were referring to as the contract that was double speak and whatnot. So that's all I have.
So this is a vote on the motion to amend. The amendment is to, get this right, the motion is to amend Section 1 of the ordinance and remove the words as outlined in Exhibit A, and also to amend Exhibit A to remove it entirely from the packet, or entirely from the ordinance.
Yes.
We'll take a vote on the amendment. Ms. Benitez?
Yes.
Mr. Exiotis?
Yes.
Mr. Burke?
Yes.
Mr. Rufner?
Yes.
Ms. Stimpert?
Yes.
Now we'll need a motion to pass the ordinance as amended.
I will make a motion to pass the ordinance as amended.
I will second.
Mr. Rufner and Ms. Stimpert?
Please. I, again, just want to say that I do not agree with speed cameras in principle. I'd rather have an officer present. I like the idea that they'd be in the school zones. I like the idea they'd be around the city. I have a little less trepidation for them in the school zone if they're unmanned cameras, just kind of, as a deterrent. I have a huge issue with them being used as a cash grab. I know this is for just school zones, and I want to make that clear. It's just applying to school zones right now. Thank you.
Mr. Rippon?
Again, as everybody knows, I am in favor of the speed cameras. It's a deterrent. It's, in my opinion, it's not a cash grab. Everybody says, well, how is it not a cash grab? Because ideally, best case scenario, what's the end result of cameras being out there? Ultimately, the best case scenario is not one citation gets written because everybody slows the heck down. If you're dumb enough to speed, go for it. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. That's the way I look at it, okay? The example today, 57 in a 35. How is that not a safety matter? How is that not an issue? 87 people blew through the school zone in the last week of school last year at 21 plus miles an hour over the 20 mile an hour posted limit. How is that not a safety issue? Now, do you stop that person right then? No. But you know what? That officer sitting there isn't either. For every one you stop, how many just flew by? Because they don't care. He's already busy with somebody. I got clear sailing. I see it on Route 5 every morning going to work. Someone's pulled over and people hauling butt past them because they're already taken care of. They're already delayed. So call it what you want, spin it however you want. But the ultimate goal is to slow people down. And that's my intent, that's my goal, that's what I'm in support of this for. It's not to replace the officers. 300 and some, what, 1 month, 316 calls. That's 1 month, first month active. That's over 100 calls more than the sheriff took on their busiest month. Their busiest month was like 227 calls. They took over 100 calls more than the sheriff took in their busiest month. And this is our first month. You can say part-time officers, but you know what? They're out there 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. It's called scheduling. It's called augmented schedules. You have someone out for so many hours here, so many hours there. There's no reduction in support. You have more support than you had with the sheriff. Sheriff with 24/7, with the exception, 8 hours per week. What 8 hours? You don't know. But 8 hours a week, you didn't see a sheriff. We didn't have a sheriff. Chief Barco's budget, everybody says, oh, this is cash grab, this is support it. You do realize that his budget was less than what the sheriff wanted? And in the matter of operating in the initial 30 days, which is probably the most chaotic, on a new department, he's still under the anticipated budget of what he thought he would need. So for everybody saying, you know, oh, we got to have this to keep the police department going. No, you don't. They're operating quite well. They're not operating in the red. They're not over budget. They're not understaffed. They're doing what they do with what they've got. And I appreciate the chief, all the officers, and everybody for what they're doing. This is a tool to assist them. 4 hours a day spending time sitting over at the school zone when they could be out addressing some of these 300 calls. Following up on your complaints. Working on actual issues related that are high priority and of concern in this community, like the drugs. Would you rather have them working drugs or sitting out the school zone? Because, simple question, why does it take an officer to make you follow the law? Speed limit is a speed limit, whether that cop car's sitting there or not. Abide by it. What's the problem? That's all I've got.
Thank you, Mr. Rubin. Ms. Joy?
I just want to say I'm in support of this. I can't rationalize some of the comments or the statements. If you don't speed, you're not gonna have to pay for anything. I haven't had a speeding ticket in my entire adult life. I'll probably get one now that I said that. But every time I go past a police officer, or I see the airplane thing, that always freaks me out, they're watching you, I slow down. I'm not speeding, never gotten a ticket for speeding, but I slow down. So if putting those signs out and putting those cameras out slows one person down, that might be one life we save. The comments of, and just to jump some of the comments that have been said, nobody's been killed, nobody's been hit. Do you want to be the first one? I don't. I don't want my family to be the first one. Things are way different now than they were 10 years ago, 50 years ago. I'm sure the traffic in front of our school district or through our village is way different than it was 10 years ago, 20 years ago. The cash grab just gets me. If we can slow somebody down, whether it be a 2-week ticket later or because they've seen that sign, in my mind, that's a win. If you get a little cash from it on top of it, that's a win for all of us. I'm having a real hard time rationalizing these. So I'm in support of them. I said when we, I have been a full supporter of getting our police department back, and I thank you very much for all that you have done and all of our officers. And I want to do it in the way that we don't have to dig into our pocketbooks. We've looked at grants, we've reached out, we're starting all these processes. It's not just a one-way thing, oh, let's go put speed cameras up. There's multiple things happening so that we don't have to look at a levy or look at tax increase. If we can do something to not have to do that, I think that's our responsibility as a legislative branch up here. I think it would be horrific on our part to just say, oh, we're going to put a levy on. There's other options we can do, and I think we need to do all of those first. So I'm in support of this. That's all I have.
Anybody else?
I pretty much had my say.
Yes, you have.
Vote to pass as amended. Mr. Exiotis?
Yes.
Mr. Burke?
Yes.
Mr. Rufner?
Yes.
Ms. Stimpert?
Yes.
Ms. Benitez?
Yes.
Pass 5-0. Can I ask the law director, is the amendment significant enough to require this ordinance to have another reading?
I say no.
Thank you.
All right, we'll move on to item 11, which is new business. This will be resolution 10-2025. It's a resolution to authorize the city of the Village of Newton Falls to participate in the Purdue direct settlement pursuant to the government entity and shareholder direct settlement agreement and the National Opioids Settlement Framework.
So make the motion.
No second.
Ms. Benitez, Mr. Rufner? Discussion?
If I may.
Please.
Just for clarification, I did have someone reach out to me on this, and they thought this was related to other issues, matters, whatnot. It is not. This is a new, I don't want to call it a fine, but a judgment against an organization who is now required to pay settlement. And we are putting our name in that hat for potential inclusion in that settlement. So it's statewide, actually it might even be more than state, but This is just us putting our name in that hat to get potential settlement money out and assistance with regards to a judgment that was made against pharmaceutical company for opioids.
Thank you, Mr. Rupner.
Mr. Exiotis?
Yes.
Mr. Burke?
Yes.
Mr. Rufner?
Yes.
Ms. Stempert?
Yes.
Ms. Benitez?
Yes.
Pass 5-0.
And finally, we have ordinance 2025-41. It's an ordinance amending the codified ordinance related to the traffic code and establishing Chapter 377 of the Traffic Code regulating underspeed, low speed, and utility vehicles.
Also move.
I'll second.
Ms. Stempert and Mr. Rufner?
May I have an address?
Please.
As Mr. Bariak had mentioned, there's been some confusion on this, and this is just kind of clarifying and addressing a few issues that were with the previous ordinance. A resident had reached out to me that owns a low-speed golf cart, and with the previous ordinance could not travel on the main road through town. They lived there, so they couldn't get to the city park and things like that. So I appreciate Mr. Limbian helping with this, and Chief Barco. We've had lots of conversations back and forth, and Chief has weighed in on this and approved. So I would just like to get this out there and approved, so our residents can travel within the village on their golf carts or low-speed vehicles.
Mr. Burke?
Yes.
Mr. Rufner?
Yes.
Ms. Stempert?
Yes.
Mr. Exiotis?
No.
And Ms. Benitez?
Yes.
Pass 4-1.
All right, public comments. 3 minutes or less.
All I'd like to say tonight is, I want to touch back on another. When everybody up here took their oath, did you take your oath to do the best you can for the Newton Falls people? Well, that's what I did. We had a chance, and Mr. Rufner, you were there in the negotiations with Stuart White for the Dunkin' Donut when he wanted to cherry pick the utilities, and I said, you're going to take the electricity, you aren't getting anything at all. Mrs. Stempert, you came out and said, I hope somebody in the paper, I hope somebody will locate here and give us some economic development. Well, let's be for the citizens of Newton Falls. Your alma mater, like the mayor says, you don't have a sheepskin up here, Mrs. Stempert. All your family's down in Braceville. We went with Aaron Young.
I never said anything about a sheepskin. Now, you can't put words in my mouth.
Well, I thought I heard, excuse me, don't, excuse me then.
All right.
Excuse me.
Go ahead. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Well, all I'm saying is we have a chance to get some money that our school system needs desperately. We have to cut coaches. And then somebody says, Mr. Rufner says, well, we're getting 40%. We should get all the utilities. We should get plus the income tax. We need it. And I don't know why, that's what happens. We got a guy that just left town here, went down to Boca Raton. His pockets were full. Why don't we start taking care of the Newton Falls citizens and doing something for them instead of taking a chance on getting money taken from them? You have done nothing for the city of Newton Falls, not one thing. And we are what we are. If we take pride and we're out, clean up the city, have what we can do the best of what we have without going to the taxpayer. That's what I'm for. But don't tell me, sir, that we're for Newton, Mrs. Stempert, don't tell me you're for Newton Falls. We went to Aaron Young, and Aaron Young said, put street lights out there, light their corner up, try to get this traffic slowed down at 45. We went to the meeting, we had it all firmed up, but they will not do anything until, and I called the county and talked to the commissioners, they've been waiting for the application that we have to submit before we can move forward. All right, if you want to be for Newton Falls, let's be for Newton Falls. And you know I'm not kidding, Kevin, you knew exactly what went on in there. Maybe, I don't know why, you wouldn't want to get more money in our city. I do. I do. I represent Newton Falls.
I'll answer your question when I get to reply.
Well, okay. Well, we're not making more money just because we're getting a surcharge on the electric. Come on, Kevin.
Thank you, Mr. Boriak.
Thank you.
Anybody else? All right. Oh, here we go.
My name's Laura Nislow, and I'm at 227 North Center Street. So council said that the speed cameras need the support of the community to move forward. That's what you were saying. But here's the thing, you don't have the support of the community. You have the support of council. There is an overwhelming amount of people who have said they do not support this. You said someone also gets pulled over. While the officer is speaking to them, cars fly past well over the speed. If safety is a real goal, why not have a second officer positioned further down the road to stop those drivers too? That would address the problem directly and allow a real interaction. While officers can detect other violations such as impaired driving or drug violations, cameras can only send a ticket in the mail. It can't pull you over for driving drunk. It can't find drugs in your vehicle. It can't handle a dangerous situation on the spot. It's not building a safer community, it's just sending out a fine. If the council is truly listening to the community, you would hear that this is not something that we want. We don't need surveillance. We need safety, and we need people on the streets. Secondly, I saw that you put an ordinance through for the slow-moving vehicles. A lot of teenagers might not like me for saying this, but I also would like to see some information on the motor bikes and the scooters. I only say this because as they've come out, there has been an overwhelming increase on head injuries in ERs, mainly because they zip in and out of vehicles crossing the streets without looking, and there has been an overwhelming amount of information out there now of how they're dangerous. I understand they're fun, I understand they're convenient for the kids, but they also need to be addressed, whether it's they have to wear a helmet, they have to wear something, but the ERs are seeing an increase on visits, specifically for head injuries, broken bones, broken legs. Not so much the broken bones and legs are concerned, but the head injuries, because they're whipping out in front of vehicles. So, thank you.
Anybody else?
Jim Malonowatsu, 10 East Liberty Street. I appreciate you changing the speed camera thing. However, I think you did it wrongly. I don't think you needed to make it an ordinance. It needed to be by resolution. And I also think, Mr. Acom, you were absolutely correct. If it is done by ordinance, it was a major change. And if it's done by ordinance and it's a major change, I disagree with you, Mr. Olympian. They took the whole exhibit out of there. And Kevin, you've been on council before. Julie, you've been here long enough. Mayor, you've been in town for a long time. Brian, you've been around a long time. Pat, you've been around. You know that a major change results in an ordinance going back to a first reading. So what you did by passing that and just saying that it's passed, it's not passed. It needs to go back to a first reading. Or you need to make it a resolution like it should be. Because it's not legal the way it is right now. And it will not hold up if it's challenged.
Anybody else?
Brian Crop, 247 Elizabeth Street. A couple things. I'm disappointed that you guys decided to pass that. And again, I just kind of go back to talking about the money again, and I know people seem to get offended when you start calling it a cash grab or talking like that. But ultimately, as Kevin alluded to, if the ultimate goal is to slow everybody down and nobody gets tickets or no violations, Have you guys actually, I mean, we had a proposed contract, we had Blue Line Solutions come in. I know there's other individuals, other companies and stuff that provide these same services, but most of them are gonna require payment of some kind. So let's say we get the best case scenario and everybody slows down and there's no violations, there's no tickets or anything. We're gonna come out of pocket. We're gonna lose money. Nobody's talking about this. Nobody's actually addressed that or mentioned the fact that it's gonna cost real man hours. It's gonna take real officers to be in rooms, looking at violations, looking at the cameras, looking at these, every time somebody goes through and there's, the license plate gets read, there's gonna have to be, per Ohio law, an officer sitting in a room somewhere that we're paying per hour or per a salary or whatever. That's gonna cost us real money. If someone decides to challenge us and there's a legal battle, someone decides to take it to court, we're gonna have real man hours that's gonna go into the law department having to, decide to fight this or whatever. And that's best case scenario. Like I said, if the ultimate goal is to slow everybody down, no violations, and nobody speeding in these zones, then we're not generating any money from those tickets. We're not gonna be receiving any money, and ultimately we'll end up being on the hook most likely. Companies, I don't care what any of them say, that guy that was up here is a salesperson, whether he's been in law enforcement or not. They're trying to sell you something to make money. That's their goal, is to make money, period. They can talk about safety and talk about all these other things, but a ticket in the mail 2 or 3 weeks later is not a great deterrent. I think most of you guys are parents up here. If your kid did something wrong or your pet did something wrong and you decided to scold them 3 weeks later, they don't learn anything. They're gonna continue to do it. And the big overarching thing that nobody said anything, there's no legal mechanism to force anybody to pay these tickets. Not a single one in the state. What's the resolution there? What's the solution? If nobody pays the tickets, let's say best case scenario, nobody gets any tickets, and the people that do get tickets don't pay them, who's making money? How are we making anybody safer? How are we making a school zone that, again, Julie, I know you mentioned that, who wants to be the first? Nobody wants to be the first, but you're not saving any, nothing's happening in that zone. I've never heard of any accidents that have taken place in that area. And to say that we're trying to make people safer or whatever, I know what you guys are trying to do, and I get it, and I appreciate that. And I think we all want a safe community. We all want our police department that's respected. Nobody's talking about the trust in the department. That's not gonna build trust either. And if you guys, listen, I really firmly believe that the community at large really would. We talk about a levy, nobody's wanted to pass a levy because there's been bad situations. The city's not been in a good position, whether it be the previous iterations of council or the previous administrations, the previous police department, however you want to slice it. Building trust of the community, bringing back the police department, being able to fund it properly, providing safety and presence and all those different things, people will pay for services and be happy to pay for services if they believe and trust you guys are doing the best for the community and not making, again, like I said, I know you guys don't like this term, but it's a cash grab. There's nobody making anybody safer. Yes, I would like to see an officer for 4 hours a day, 5 days a week during the school season, sit over there. And if they have to pull somebody over, cool. Everybody else that decides to drive through there will see that person being pulled over. If you find somebody that's doing 50 over the speed limit, you impound their car. Now there's real money. Now you have a car that you can sell. Now you have asset forfeiture, the legal ramifications of breaking the law. You need to call another officer over there to sit there while someone else is getting pulled over, getting a ticket, so be it. But these are real mechanisms that we really could utilize that will actually build trust in the community. This isn't it. I'm kind of disappointed. And the last thing I wanted to address is 2 things. I was kind of disappointed that tabled motion or the tabled piece of legislation that was supposed to be brought back up at this meeting hasn't been discussed. Maybe you guys can talk about it in your reports or something and kind of address that. And as far as reports, my councilperson, Ms. Benitez, I do appreciate the written forms that you put together, but your report period should be about the first ward. It should be about discussing, and the mayor kind of started to kick that off when he started talking about speed cameras, and Mr. Axiotis kind of alluded to it as well. Those reports really should be about the activities that you've done in the last couple of weeks, the things that you've done for your particular ward. If you want to read a written statement, again, like I said, I appreciate that. Come down here and stand down here or read it during, a public comment section or something like that, just like everybody else does, because I really think that's a misuse of that time in that period of the meeting. I'd like to hear what you've done over the last couple of weeks since the last meeting for the first ward. That's really what I'd like to see. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Julie Lemon, 609 Ridge Road. Well, I actually was one of the 300 plus calls that the police had to respond to last month, and I'm gonna put on the record, Chief Officer Pogorny. It was a very delicate situation. It's a very hurtful situation, and he handled it with all the grace and dignity that we expect of our officers, and that completely made me miss our boys in blue. It makes me so thankful that you're back, you guys are back. I am completely thankful for that. It's a work in progress, we all know that. We'll get it right. Might take some time. As for the attacks that are going on up here, I'm gonna address in a second, but, I'm gonna agree with Mr. Crop on, something. I was a little disappointed that the table motion did not make its way back up here, because if that goes through as an emergency, I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm personally gonna referendum it, because it violates the clause of emergency, first off. Second off, I was charter review secretary for 2 years. I did a lot of work. All my work, I sent to Mr. Combe. It wasn't questioned, it was done, and it was done properly. Earlier this evening during the meeting, I actually offered my services to the Planning and Zoning Commission for free. I know how to do minutes. I offered it for free. But our Planning and Zoning Commission chair looked me in the face and told me I'm not qualified. He wants to cost the taxpayer $6,000. I didn't get paid on charter review. I did the minutes for free. And I was willing to do that for it, and I'll put it out there. I'm willing to do it for free. Just so the city can conduct business and not be hindered. But the backbiting, Mr. Bariak coming up here, attacking y'all. You want to talk about being for the city? Well, was he exactly for the city when everybody that was in this building on December 7th, 2021, did not want the police department disbanded? Where was the facts for the levies then? And I don't think Mr. Crop has the right to come up here and address our councilwoman with the disrespect that he just did. That gets in my crawl. I'm going to say it because she has represented our ward very, very well. And I respect you and I appreciate everything you've done. And I happen to enjoy. And however you feel to do your report, however you feel that message is, you need to convey it, you go on, girl, you convey it however you want to. I appreciate the work that you guys are doing. I don't always agree, but I actually did have to agree with Mr. Axiotis, and me and him don't always see eye to eye. But I called Mr. Riffner about it, and he said that was not supposed to be there. I got an explanation. That's all we can ask. And people really cannot complain if you don't come to meetings and ask questions. Keyboard warriors don't cut it. I'm sick of people attacking every solution that you guys do. If it's not by the charter, then yes, you're gonna hear from me.
Mayor, time.
But everything you guys do, it is appreciated. Just so you know.
Thank you. Anybody else? I will move on to closing remarks. You know, the human race is, it's really, we're pretty fragile and frail. And, you know, we can only try to do the right thing. And stepping up with the with speed cameras right now, I don't see any other, I don't see any other solution. I don't like speed cameras. I don't want speed cameras. Nobody does. But right now, things are just that bad in town. And we stepped in here with the, when council and I came in, there was a deficit, and there was no police department. So I think right now, our best bet is free up our police officers, let the cameras do their work, and just get the people slowed down in town. They're rolling through here. Like I said, I've had 2 accidents right in front of my place, not once, but twice, with the streetlights being knocked down, one with the tractor trailer, one with the motorcycle. And I don't see another way to slow people down. One other thing that I think we should consider is let's send out a notice where the cameras are going to be at. Send it out with the utility bills. Not only post it with a sign, but let the people know where the cameras are at. If you go blowing through there and you know there's a camera, then you can't blame it on the camera. You can only blame that on yourself, you know? That's my closing remarks. Mr. Axiotis, would you like to start things off?
You know, I've been up here a little over a year and a half. I ran on bringing police department back. some of the comments that were made earlier. Yeah, the police department we currently have, not taking a penny more than we would have paid the sheriffs. Is it on a shoestring budget? It absolutely is. And we all knew this, coming into this, that we didn't have the funding that they needed from the get-go. But unfortunately, we just didn't have the money. And that was a big concern of mine when I first sat down here and had these discussions with the folks up here. How are we gonna get the money for the police department? And we had all these ideas. Income tax increase, levy increase. Those things had to go to the voters. And we know historically it's been very tough to pass those things. So then we went down the path of discussing amongst ourselves, well, how can we build the trust of the people to support a levy or an income tax increase so we can properly fund the police department? And we had all these ideas. We had a committee that was supposed to explore this. Everyone was gung-ho and you know, doing that. And then on left field, speed cameras came. The hard stuff went out the window. The easy cash grab idea was thrown in front of us. There's not one person up here who's even attempted to go down the levy path or the income tax path. Personally, I believe, leave it to the people. If the people go and they vote for a levy, then they want it. If they vote no, then they don't want it. I know we have a representative form of government. You elect us to sit up here to represent you. Let this go to the people then. If the people want speed cameras, they'll vote it in. If they don't, they'll vote it down. I don't know why we gotta enforce our will on the people this way. If this is a major change for people in this village, which I feel it is, let them vote on it. If they want it, they'll vote for it. If they don't want it, they won't vote for it. Now, in fairness, you can referendum. If the thing comes back up as an ordinance or resolution to place speed cameras around town, please referendum it if you don't want it. Go out and get the signatures of the people, let the people vote on it. I'm not about, listen, I want the police department back. I want officers present. I want them pulling people over. I want a properly funded police department. What I do not want is a cash grab, and that's all this is. Thank you.
Ms. Pat? You have any-
Yes, I had my say.
Ms. Julie, do you have anything for us?
Yeah, I'm just going to address that there are 5 legislators up here. And we have discussed many options to bring back the police department and sustain the police department, make the police department not bare bones and what we would like, what we want. Every one of us sitting up here can create legislation to start a levy or to start income tax. Mr. Axiotis, next meeting, let's see your legislation. I personally am going to do anything and everything I can before I go to the voters for more money. That's all I have.
Thank you, Ms. Julie. Mr. Burke,
spitting
you have
out.
anything, sir?
Yes, I just got back from SummerSlam, not that you guys care, but when I was there, I met a lot of New York officers, New York and Newark, and they have a Cops for Kids program. And I haven't got a chance to tell the chief about this, but it's a national program, helps bring money in. It was exciting to hear that the police were down there playing basketball with the kids. So I'm hoping that this Cops for Kids program can come this way. It was really an exciting program to hear about while I was in New York. As far as police cameras, I'm supportive of slowing people down. Slow them down, especially the people that aren't from town that know they can just speed through our town and community. People that live here know not to speed through those areas. They know kids walk through that area by the school all the time, so just slow the people down. That's all I have.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Riveter, do you have anything?
Yeah, real quick. I'm not even gonna bother going down the route of the cameras. That's beat that horse to death. But looking at it, the community, everybody's saying overwhelming majority are against this. In the last two weeks, I've had 4 phone calls. Well, 3 phone calls and a message on Facebook. One of them was, please don't do it, please don't do it, it doesn't make sense. And we discussed it. There was a lot of misinformation out there. There's a lot of people being guided down the wrong path. This doesn't cost us anything. If there's no citation forwarded, there's no money going out. So it doesn't keep costing us money. There is no startup cost. There's nothing for us to invest in. They make their money off the citations that are forwarded. So if a citation goes up, they get 25%. If the fine's $125, guess what? They get, what, $12.50, whatever it is? I'm bad with math, so go with it. Yeah, well, go with it. But the thing is, that's where they make their money, okay? They don't make money off of us. And yes, there are things in place that if you don't pay it in the state of Ohio, you can get late fees, you can get additional, what they call, Chief, what do they call it?
Civil litigation.
Civil litigation, and you can actually be summoned to appear in front of a judge if you don't pay it. Additionally, you're right, don't pay it. Try and renew your driver's license. Guess what? You have outstanding warrant or outstanding fines. They don't renew it. Get your old sticker redone. Guess what? Outstanding citations. You're not getting a new sticker till it's paid. So, I mean, do a little more research than the initial Reddit. Dig into the Google. Dig into the different references. Actually look up things like Dayton versus the state of Ohio. When you say, oh, an officer has to be sitting there, that's the way it reads, 4511. No. Look up the court case. The Ohio Supreme Court ruled on it. An officer does not have to be present at the camera. So do a little bit more research before you start spewing the misinformation out there. Just because you think you're right doesn't always make you right. It's not up to us to sit here and throw back at you and say, oh, we're wrong. You should be doing that yourself, making sure that if you're going to pass the information, you're passing correct information and not select information to get something to go your way or to get the cheerleaders behind you. So, that's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Ruffner. Mr. Lemmy, do you have anything to add tonight?
No, sir, thank you.
Ms. Jamie, do you have anything?
Nothing more, sir. Thank you.
Does anyone have a motion to go into executive session tonight?
I do.
You do.
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to enter executive session for the reasons of personnel matters, to consider the appointment compensation of an employee, a public employee, and also imminent legal actions.
I'll second.
Ms. Stempert and Mr. Rufner. Ms. Stempert?
Yes.
Mr. Rufner?
Yes.
Mr. Burke?
Yes.
Mr. Exiotis?
Yes.
Ms. Benitez?
Yes.
Pass 5-0, 7:58. Burke.
Yes.
Mr. Rufner.
Yes.
Mrs. Stimpert.
Yes.
Mr. Exiotis.
Yes.
Ms. Benitez.
Yes.
It's passed 5-0, 9:31.
Motion to adjourn?
Yes.
Stimpert and Burke, Exiotis.
Yes.
Benitez.
Yes.
Burke.
Yes.
Rufner.
Yes.
Stimpert.
Yes.
Passed.
Yeah.
It's like one of our, this is Connie Halcutt. Will you see?
Will I see Connie? I can give that to
You want me to kill this speaker down here?